Hello and welcome, Marvel Rivals fans. We are here and we are live. Little IEN action coming hot at you. I'm FBI Tugboat, and here with me, back in the saddle, Orbital. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Excited to be here. Excited to hop on in. I was dragged in a little bit last minute, but you know I'm always down for it and 100% ready to go for today's match.
Absolutely, absolutely. What, the IEN season kicking off? We'll give you guys a little bit of an idea what exactly to expect from Ben Davis University High School and Speedway's varsity Marvel Rival Squad, excuse me. But first, I want to give a shout out to one of the organizations that make broadcasts just like this possible, and that is Zotac. Hey everyone, we want to give a huge shout out to Zotac Gaming for powering today's stream. Thanks to their incredible support, we're able to bring this broadcast to all of you, helping to showcase some of the amazing talent that exists within Scholastic Esports today. You can show your appreciation for Zotac Gaming by giving them a shout out over there on your various social medias, and make sure to join their community on Discord, and don't forget to use the hashtag powered by Zotac, Zotac spelled Z-O-T-A-C, and also right down there on the bottom of your screen, or hashtag Zotac USA when you post. Big shout out to Zotac. Orbital, hopping into this one. Yeah, we're starting off the season. 6 weeks of Marvel Rivals competition starts right now. I believe it ends November 12th right there, and we'll be staring down the barrel of Ben Davis, who's played a whole lot in the IEN, taking on Speedway, who has a very, very interesting logo.
Yeah, they got a little bit of a fun one, but quite honestly, it's the players that we're very much interested in. As you can see right now on the lobby screen, we have 6 amazing players on either side, but the rosters themselves extend much further. For Ben Davis University, they got Blake, they got Recover, they got Average Enjoyer, they got Angel Hearted, they got Spicy Pizza, they got, or I guess Pizzazz, if you will. They got Shark, Yoshimoto, Husker, Dre at the very end. These are extensive lists of 6 players as well as a healthy roster of substitutes, which makes me very excited for the upcoming match.
What that tells me is there's a lot of options as well. Big shout out here to A East, that is coach manager over there for Ben Davis. I'll run through Speedway now. We're looking at Reaper Black 3, Red Wing Just Demonic, Nightmare, Yoink, Peanut Butter, E-Work, and Kingster here on the playing side. Big shout out Wreckage 25, Ryan Dunphy, no R there, for coaches and managers. As we know, these Scholastic teams are fantastic. They don't get quite where they need to go without some of that higher end support from coaches, managers, everything else within their various school districts. Who will exactly see on the battlefield, right, for these two Marvel Rival squads yet to be seen, given that, again, it's so situational, right? Logic would follow. There's plenty of people on this roster that play like a certain couple of heroes, like really divey characters or hit scans or whatever else like that. Anybody familiar with Overwatch 2? A lot of the same themes remain the true here in Marvel Rivals.
There is, and there's a lot more thematics that come back with the 6-man roster. You have a lot of 2-2-2s, you have a lot of 1-2-3s in situations depending if you're running strategists, if you're running heavy on the vanguards or heavy on the duelist side. There are a lot of factors that go into this. Majority share, we do see the 2-2-2 at the current moment. It is a staple, but as you said, mainly for the duelists, it's all about, are you going on a hit scan? Are you going melee range? Which we currently see Caden over there on the Ben Davis side actually hovering the Magic, which Magic tends to be a little bit different. If you're really good with Magic, you can play within the melee versus range area, but it's such an interesting mix that this ban phase will be a one to watch for. We already get a Black Panther banned out almost immediately, which does make me quite happy to see.
Bucky counter ban on the other side. Now, for anybody unfamiliar with this, there will be, as you can see, there are red ban stages, and the next here are protect stages. After that, another ban stage, another protect stage, another ban stage. So 3 bans total, 2 protects, and also each of these ban and protects will only be for the team that selects it, right? Obviously, ban going against the opposite team, protect going for their team.
That's why we're seeing kind of this mix and match, and sometimes you'll see the same bands to come out. However, very heavy targeted towards what we as a squad dislike. And again, both these teams are sitting at 0-0. Even if they do have a history of playing in tournaments through the summer, or maybe some of the preseason shenanigans is what I like to call it, there's a high chance that most of the teams don't have a good amount of information on the opponent. So what you're seeing are actually what I like to call comfort bans and comfort saves. Comfort bans being, we can't play against this hero very well, we have to ban it out, which makes sense. And there is Ben Davis's Magic, which we see Caden hovering right now. That is a great save in the potential realm of, but we need this to at least make our entire team work together.
Yeah, and I'm looking here at the bottom for Speedway, and kind of surprised they protected the mag, given that it's been 2 DPS targeted from the other side from Ben Davis thus far, that they will not be able to play. Both of those kind of the more medium-range characters, Bucky and Iron Man, of course, whereas Dive is being heavily censored on the other side until the Doctor Strange pick. Doctor Strange pretty well-rounded, not against it as kind of like a universal pick, again, in a week 1 where we really don't have a whole lot of information, Orbital.
That's very, very true, and not only a double, but now a triple out on the DPS phase. The duel is heavily focused with that Psylocke as well. I've got to agree with you. It's a little bit surprising that they go with the Magneto, but at the same time, you say that Luna Snow, so you're basically saying we want our front and back line really, really stable, and that allows us to actually run out a very hefty single DPS focus. You can see that Blade plus the Moon Knight. These are not, I would say, a staple amount of duelists that you normally see. These are still a little bit oddball picks. Moon Knight, of course, rising in priority, but the Blade is such an interesting one to watch for.
It is very, very divey, perhaps something they wanted to kind of like supplant after Ben Davis took away a couple of options on the other side. As it stands right now, we got an Emma, we got a Mag, we got a Magic, we got a Namor, got a Luna Snow, as well as the Cloak and Dagger. One of 2 players it'll be featured on, 3 players it'll be featured on both teams, the Magneto, the Luna Snow, and the Cloak and Dagger. So Healing Core for Speedway will be supported by this Jeff, as well as the aforementioned Moon Knight and the Blade. Honestly, you're talking about like really like area of denial between the Moon Knight and the Blade. If they can get it going with those 2 of them, supported by the Luna Snow kind of like distance healing, right, like the old Zen Orb, then I really think that Speedway can get something going.
Yeah, and it's a 1-2-3, meaning even if you have kind of a weird composition, you're still going to have a lot of safety there on Speedway's end. But again, if Red Wing goes down, if that Magneto goes down, you're in trouble. So for Ben Davis, as soon out the gate here on a domination territory, that will be what we have to watch for. Can they identify that Red Wing needs to go down, or are you going to aim at some of those strategists in the back line? You're going to try and pick up the Jeff, which is running on its own with your own 2-2-2 setup. How well will it play out?
Yeah, and if Red Wing goes down early here, just because it's the only tank, there's not really much in the way of a front line, but finally kind of getting it going here after Speedway does give over initial. Magic on the Blade, we know how this is going to go early. Almost down, so close. No, the Jeff coming in to save the day for Speedway. That's not 1 but 2 sources of some solid damage going down right here, and a little bit of pause to make sure that everything is hunky-dory.
And to start things off, we're already seeing what Speedway is kind of aiming for. Ben Davis immediately went to the point, but Speedway actually drew 2 2v2v2v2 situations, which is why we saw Reaper actually get a very nice high-impact heal off of Just Demonic. And when it comes down to Just Demonic and Pickle, these 2 you were talking about some of that, I want to say some of that area denial. He's also very good individual DPS duelist. Blade is obviously well known as like this run and gun style, can bring out a lot of damage, but it's, you know, it's mitigated. But if you bring it into a 1v1 status, you break off against the Magic, you can actually kite the Magic around very, very neatly, which is what we saw right there. So for Speedway, it's trying to force Ben Davis into unlikely fights. If you're able to do that, if you're able to pull Ben Davis apart, you also draw the Namor away from their setup. Hey, that might be a way in to take over and to grab those points themselves.
It's a fantastic point because Ben Davis, like the theme is written upon the wall, right? Namor, yeah. Mag, Emma, like this is huge area of now, and that makes sense for this kind of King of the Hill type game mode, right? The single round here, right? For those unfamiliar, but there will be 2 out of 3 that they have to take the round, so kind of like a mini best of 3 within this best of 3. But it's a fantastic point. Ben Davis obviously shown a lot of confidence within this Magic pick, given that you generally don't see like one of your your protect stages going on towards your DPS. So if you can constantly bring Caden out and negate any sort of effect that they have, then I think that's a W within itself, Orbital.
I would 100% agree. It's all about who gets on there first, though, and right now it is a hold by Ben Davis. But the kills are coming through very quickly as Speedway are using their ramped up speed after getting Caden to flush the rest of the opponents out right now. The tanks have fallen for Ben Davis. The rest of the team is being forced off, so Speedway actually are able to turn the point over on their first attack, and they get more behind. Just Demonic going ham right now.
Yeah, this is a horrible stagger on the other side. Yes, they lost their Cloak and Dagger. Yes, Cloak and Dagger can get back there pretty darn fast, especially if Jeff spits one of his bubbles, or even two all the way back there. We're looking at a Just Demonic's player that pretty much just, I'm not going to call it single-handedly, but really just took those tanks to task. As it is, Ben Davis will try and posture up right here. Mag wall, Immo wall to try and get through here and really just create a unstoppable force type situation, getting a little bit of chip damage onto this Jeff in the back line as well. But members of Speedway aren't really lining up for these Jeff heals as easily as they can. Now it comes. That's going to at least get the Luna, yeah, so not a bad pick if this does get spit off. She will. That's going to be a 1-for-1 here. Both Luna Snows off the board as we come into an unfortunate another pause. We'll try and get a little bit of an idea of what exactly is going on here and if everything's hunky-dory like we were saying, Orbital.
Yeah, there might be a possible DC on the side of Speedway, but that's not what I want to draw your attention to. What I want to draw your attention to is the fact that Ben Davis have opted for a 1-2-3 setup as well. And when I was talking about 1-2-3 before, we're talking about the fact that Speedway had one tank, or that one Vanguard, 2 duelists, and 3 strategists. Ben Davis have opted for the same thing, but this is a different format. It is a 1-2-3, but 1 duelist, 2 Vanguards, and 3 strategists. Now this is, I don't see that as a viable strategy because when it comes to Marvel Rivals, you need damage. Rocket doesn't really provide that much. Luna Snow is pretty much all healing. Cloak and Dagger is all healing as well. The reason this surprises me is because Ben Davis actually took this format after they lost the initial defense. So they themselves said, we need to go more healing. And it's such an interesting choice that I'm sitting there going, I'm not sure if that's going to work, and we have to wait and see what goes down.
100% agree. If you're looking at one of these healers being something like an Adam Warlock, like somebody who's really good with that hit scan, can constantly hit those headshots to reduce those healing cooldowns. You're talking about a Loki that can get all 3 of these projections up and maybe even flank. We saw that just infest the meta for a while. My goodness, it was irritating to play against. Or you're talking about like a Mantis on the other side, right? She can hit her headshot. She can sleep any divers that are coming in and also provide the mild healing. But really, it's that 30% damage increase with her seeds onto her DPS and their single tank. But especially given there's not a huge recipient of this healing over on Speedway, right? There's only one tank. There's only one player on this entire squad that has even a healing pool of higher than 250.
I feel like this goes back to the old 3-3 strategist Vanguard style that we used to see on Convoys, right? Like that's what it kind of reminds me of, just with a little tailored offense. But again, that's Convoy. That's a push style. That's not exactly this domination tree status here. So it is. I know we're picking on Ben Davis for this, but maybe they have some idea. Maybe they do have a momentum base that they can work with. Maybe we're just not seeing it, and Caden is about to pop off. We know Magiques can output a lot of great DPS. We just need to see them go above and beyond now because they're actually filling the role of 2. For Speedway, though, we give them credit because that was nasty work from Just Demonic. We're talking a lot about Ben Davis, but Speedway's Just Demonic went on a tear in the DPS tree, really laying into a lot of the opponents. Got multi-kills every single time, and the multi-finishes in there. Ben Davis, I mean, you gotta watch out for this Blade and watch out for Just Demonic, who currently has ult ready.
Yeah, and the thing is that this map specifically has loads of choke points under which Just Demonic can find a whole lot of value. It's obviously not just the initial damage, it's everything that comes afterwards, right? Like this classic vampiric touch that Blade, since they've been introduced, has kind of shown to us, right? It's not like a full, like, again, Overwatch, not like a full purple, like, anti-healing where you cannot be healed for multiple seconds, just damage coming in is healing coming in is decreased, right? So that things like this. Let's hop back on into this one and try and, no. Okay, so we're going to be remaking to change a lobby setting and making sure that, again, competitive aspects of this hunky-dory. Bans will remain the same here, folks. I don't believe we'll be coming right back on into this with the same level completed or anything else like this. This one was not done and decided by any means, Orbital. So.
No, I mean, we only had first touch from either side. It was quite literally just the beginning of the battle, but we did get to see a picture being drawn, and it's still going to kind of harp on that fact of, is a 1-2-3, what's the best 1-2-3 setup? And there's a lot of thought process in there. At the same time, hey, for Speedway, losing someone and saying, hey, we don't have that one critical sixth player makes sense. We want to make sure everyone is here. We want to make sure they are able to put on the best performance and start the season off with their right foot. Instead of, maybe losing a game in a 5v6 and being like, dang, that sucked, we shouldn't have lost.
Yeah, exactly. Again, wanting to provide all of these schools the best competitive foundation that they can go forth and compete upon. While we're a little bit of downtime right here, I want to give a shout out to another organization that makes competitions just like this one possible, and that is LandFest. Thank you to LandFest for building healthy communities through gaming. There are over 23 chapters across 18 states and over 150 events a year. You can find an event near you over there at landfest.com. I know I was lucky enough to be able to be involved with a few of these in the past. It's always been a darn good time there, Orbital, and out here making the world a better place by facilitating younger folks playing esports competitively, again, at the most even-handed and sportsman-like basis they can get it. Want to also go ahead and give a shout out to some of the folks behind the scenes. Again, if you're not staring at them right now, they're working on this broadcast, I want to give a shout out to y'all, because a lot of the folks behind the scenes don't get as much credit sometimes. That is Connie, that is Taylor, and that is Jaden for this particular broadcast, and everybody else who's helped out on graphics or stream moderation or anything else like that. FBI Tugboat and Orbital, thank you. Hopping back on into this one in a second here, Orbital. Any thoughts?
My thoughts are, we appreciate everyone. Number one, going back to what you were talking about, LandFest is always such a big treat to get to work with, and being here on the IEN broadcast is always a lot of fun. But I want to take it a step further. I know we're waiting for the players to hop on in, but you were mentioning that they get to compete, but not only that, create bonds and, fellow camaraderie with a lot of the players and a lot of the competitors across the scene. These are people that found a common interest, and it can be difficult in the current climate to find a common ground with a lot of people, and to be able to use gaming as that kind of bridge between people and allow opportunities for them to get to know people maybe within their school or within their general area. It's such a big treat. So really, really big. Happy congrats and thank you to those that have made this broadcast very, very possible across the way. Now getting back into this matchup though, I will say, even with the bans the same, I am curious to see if we do get a swap up of the styles. If we do go back to a 2-2-2, if we get to see the Namor come back out, and if we are going to see a much faster take from Speedway. They recognize now that they can take a lot of the battles and say, okay, is it the battles that we're taking, or was it just luck of the draw? Either way, you can use that to instead of giving Ben Davis 35%, you just take the entire 100 to 0 and you say this first game is ours.
Yeah, just a little warm up. Just treat it like that, right? Just a little first interaction between these two teams. As going back to the Namor pick, I think this is something on paper. I mean, you get dived a lot. Your teammates start, especially your healers, start screaming for a Namor, right? It's like just the go-to. Now, I think frequently it's just like, the sky is falling down. All right, let's just go Namor and take one of our more impactful picks, which is your DPS, right? That is supposed to be going on the other side and taking out healers on the other side, chunking down tanks to make them more vulnerable and things like this. Whereas a lot of times you can just change this to go with something like the Luna Snow with the freeze, something like the Mantis with the sleep and stuff like this. Like these are other options to deal with diving characters that don't necessarily require you to change your entire composition. Take half of your DPS core in a standard 2-2-2 and go forth and dedicate it just like negating and honestly a lot of times once that happens, I think a lot, especially the tanks on the side that has your diver that knows, oh no, like now they're counter picking our specific diver, whether that's Black Panther or whoever else right here, right? Now it's like, okay, well, I just as a mag main, right? Okay, I need to dedicate 2 of my regular volleys to hitting these Namor plants, and now no value unless the Namor goes out and actually hits this diver, right? Like themselves, not without the plants.
I like how you add that in. Like, you definitely saw one of your teammates do that, and you're like, really? Did that just happen? Like,
Yeah.
that's horrible.
It's these categorical shifts, like in an entire team comp that like people. And I'm not saying these two teams are doing it by any means. I'm saying I see it in Marvel Rivals all the time. Like, oh, well,
True.
you know, there's Spider-Man. Oh, there's a Black Panther. Oh, there's an Iron Fist. Okay, well, let's just bring out the Namor, and that's just supposed to fix all of our problems. Like.
Yeah, there's little things about it, and I would agree that Namor is such a defining pick. At the same time, we didn't really get to see Ben Davis actually play together, so the points that we're making about Namor are a little bit hardline. We saw them split, we saw them do their own thing in immediate swaps, so maybe they didn't set up as cleanly as we would have liked. They chased, they got overextended, they got caught, and they got taken apart. That is also standard in Marvel Rivals. If they go ahead and bottleneck, if they go ahead and hang together, maybe that's going to be a shift. But at the end of the day, it is up to the players to decide what's the best option and how comfortable are they going to be specifically in these matchups. So, you know, I would tend to agree with you that a Namor is kind of that last calling card, but I've also seen things like an Iron Man, which is obviously banned out, I think, for Speedway's side. You know, see some of these other picks come through. We've seen a Thor have a lot of value as a tank frontliner. We will see some of the newer tanks come into play that have been absolutely brawl heavy, and it's so frustrating to play against. So, is the Namor going to be that big calling card? Is it the right call to swap off of it? I don't know. What I will say is, I do not think the 1-2-3 is going to work in terms of only having one DPS, so we would like to see them go back to a 2-2-2 setup for Ben Davis. But if they can surprise us, if Caden can pull off a fantastic Magic performance, then I will love that 1-2-3 all day long.
In my opinion, they don't need to necessarily switch off to 1-2-3 like roles, but the tune needs to be a tank in that situation. Again, there needs to be a recipient of healing on the other side. And anybody watching, not checking out, I haven't been checking out chat necessarily, but Angela can be played in this. Yes, I know there's some questions on some other competitions about is the new tank playable. We definitely feel like she's been out long enough, and we'll be looking at this again. Yes, and again, all the pick bans would be the exact same. Now this is an opportunity for me to actually write these down. Orbital. It's usually what I do, but I forgot to this time.
I think we had a triple DPS ban, is what we actually saw from the side of Ben Davis. They really hard focused and said, hey, can't deal with it, which is why I think we actually saw the Blade and the it was Blade and Moon Knight that came out, I believe. And so it was such a weird conundrum, but then it made sense in the fact that you lose triple DPS that are a little bit more prominent in the current meta. I mean, Bucky obviously being one of the high tier DPS right now. On the flip side, though, it was Speedway saying we want to ban out some of the tanks, we want to ban out some of the divers, we want to ban away some of your frontline action, which is what they looked at. They banned out the Hulk. Last up, I think, is going to be Magneto. On the far end is what we saw before, or was it not? No, it wasn't. It was Doctor Strange. That's what it was.
That's what it was.
Final ban for Speedway was Doctor Strange.
Very good point. Very good point. Again, all of these remaining the same. Doctor Strange, again, just a very, very well-rounded character. I feel like this is a character that goes through with a whole lot of different compositions. And I mean, it's never bad to have like that very, very wide, round 800 health shield. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no one's ever worried about that one. We love to see a healthy shield at the end of the day. But we are loading back in, and most notably is going to be the Magneto matchup. But from the get-go, okay, so for Ben Davis, they're actively sticking with the 3-2-1 triple strategist on both ends, but highly defined front lines here for either team. So this time around, I have a feeling that Speedway are going to come in and say, this is a much better fight for point.
Yeah, just a little more opportunity here. I'm wondering. No, yeah, this is the same exact. This is the same exact starting comp. Were they told they had to play the same composition as well? Because
I don't think so.
I'm not 100% sure about the rule. Yeah,
it does make sense considering how both teams are kind of funneling out. I think for Speedway, they're running the same thing that they had at the beginning. It felt like their bread and butter. It had no problems. Technically, it's really Ben Davis. It's their turn to make that chess move of, do we need to change once again? We got obliterated. We lost out with the Namor with a lot of these items, and we only got 35% on the point. So it is on us to figure out a different answer and force Speedway to answer us back either with a hero rotate or with a game style change.
I can't tell you how many times I've done that, like coming out in your classic jump, and I forget that I have the rocket pack, right, to just like set myself straight up to the ceiling. Happens all the time. Ben Davis' success is going to be determined, at least in part, by how good Caden can get out from here, and ideally avoid a 1v1 right here, especially with Jeff on the other side. Yeah, those damage capabilities really make this character hard to kill.
Just that extremely annoying as first battle already goes over to Speedway and Speedway Varsity. We mentioned before that the Magic is the only DPS right now. This allows so much space for Speedway. You don't even have to worry about the fact that there might be DPS in your back line. You just gotta run straight forward, and that's all we're watching here. Of course, Caden is back on the map now, and it is gonna be a little bit of a dance behind, but still, Speedway making it look so dang easy.
Yeah, a great job, honestly, from Caden right now, getting in, getting out, and especially, and like, I'm not against this, like, because they avoided the blade, but there's just too much damage from this just demonic player on the other side right here. That I gotta say, even with a single, well, no, they have the Moon Knight here, so like a 1, 2, 3, still with 2 DPSs in the solo tank. Red Wing doing a good job of playing the front line so far, Orbital.
Ooh. I mean, there's just no problem. Red Wing is quite literally just, you corner the entirety of Ben Davis, and Ben Davis lose out again on their front line. Of course, Salty coming in here with that Angelus saying, okay, let's swing for the fences. Let's go ahead and mix it up. We bring the Storm out, though. This is another hero shift with the Loki behind. Ben Davis going through the entire roster, but I don't think it's right. Speedway is saying, listen, we have what we like. We are going to use what we like, and we're going to win with what we like.
Nicely done, Speedway. Nicely done. Ben Davis definitely falls to kind of like the trickling in right here. Like, after you lose 2, especially with 2 of those being like such crucial characters, you got to just come back a little bit. They're still not with a full 6 right now. Ben Davis is in Orbital.
No, they're not. They're still trying to work their own magic. And, I mean, for Ben Davis, you're losing members. You called it a trickle, and I hate saying that. Usually I call it a staggering, but it's not. You're literally losing one player at a time, and for Ben Davis, you have to be willing to give before you can take. And this is just annoying. You love when Jess create clips like that.
That's so funny. Nobody knew, especially not me, as I play 0 flyers and 0 divers in this game, knew that there was actually like a lip right there, like a ledge, but pretty interesting. Yeah, so I'm really striving to try and see the cohesion across Ben Davis's composition, right? They changed the Namor there at the last second. Okay, you're dealing with divers, but you have the quintessential diver and Angela on your team. This bubble, like the bubble range there for the mag, only goes so far as well, Orbital. So I'm trying to like sense the theme here.
I think the theme is we have no theme, and we're still trying to find what works, which is,
that's fair,
in my opinion, okay at the start of a season. Now, we talked about it before. I believe the season is actually quite long, and you were talking about this as well. How long does the season run for, and how much time do you have to practice and kind of learn what you want to do? For Ben Davis, maybe this is a trying out period. We talked about the extensive length of the roster that they had running. They had about 9 to 10 players. Maybe you're still looking for that perfect 6-man roster to work with. Either way, though, at the current moment, if you're using this time to test, great. Of course, that does mean that you're going to take a couple losses here because of how much hero juggling you're currently going through.
It's entirely fair, and what we saw 2 different players switch with more than 50% on this previous, Caden being one of them. Caden protecting the magic, deciding, hey, this 2-2-2 is a little bit, or 1-2-3 yet again, excuse me, but they did what we were talking about and went with the 2 tanks instead. See how Zamas goes forth and does this as that solo DPS. They're really trying to get rid of this blade on the other side. We do have a Maggle ready right here. That's a decent steal. Not going to be enough for reposition to really find value on that attempt from Angela.
Take a look on the other. That's going to be Pickle saying, let's go ahead and make a pickle happen. Plus the Meteor ready to strike on the back end, but it doesn't really land on anyone. So Ben Davis have an opportunity. You push the tank away. You create a little bit more space, but it doesn't matter because the triple tanks, or not triple tanks, the triple strategist helping out so much. Sing a song to keep everyone buffed up on the flip side. Ben Davis is battling it out so hard. I am loving this continued aggression here on the point as neither team has captured captured so far, but there it is. Speedway speeding through with 3, make it 4 as down goes Ben Davis, and Speedway will cap first.
The difference there was obviously ultimates. It was a very, very clutch move there from Disabled Soul, realizing what the team needed, copying Luna on the other side, popping that song rather quickly. What I'm looking for from Speedway here is just to get the, like, Demonic involved just a tiny bit more here. Like they've really found a whole lot of value. Now on the other side, this Angela here, they need to continue to find good value. That is exactly what the doctor ordered.
Got one. That's step number 1 of about 7. Let's see you get steps 2 and 3. That does mean duke it out straight in the middle, get a little bit of healing in the back, and there you go. Helping out Caden, swapping over to the Magneto set, bring the DPS somewhere else. This has yielded better results. You're now taking a equal fight, or more so, as Ben Davis take a brutal battle over Speedway, and Speedway are left to wander.
A great job. The Angela hold with the Magneto ultimate there has been a classic since this hero was introduced. Not 100% sure if they needed that Namor ultimate as well, but I mean, hey, results remain the same. As it is, though, they only have one support ultimate on their side. Ben Davis does. Best news for them is that it's very good against the Moon Knight ultimate.
It is, and one of the big parts as well, Salty Mold, we were talking about it, bringing out this Angela, pretty much a DPS in its own, but that's the diver, that's the gobble up, and that's the spit out of only 1, but it might be enough. Get 1, you open up space for the rest of the team. Red Mercy hops their way right back in, and Red Wing says no mercy for you, as Ben Davis are all but ace.
So Speedway is doing a fantastic job of just concentrating characters, right? Like a lot of time, it's the Angela when she dives in. Then once this is a 5 to 6, the math just gets so much easier there. We've seen a lot of, a lot of attention on Tongue, a lot of attention on Free Zamas, and once it just goes like dominoes, one at a time here, Speedway is able to just really just, go through the checkdowns. That's what they say in like football or something, right?
Go down the checklist, of course, and I agree with that one. Right now, the only one ultimate really up and available for Speedway. That is the Moon Knight area, and they are going to pop it, same as just Demonic. So a massive swap of DPS coming out, which Ben Davis are not able to hold against. Immediately, 3 are gone. Down will Disabled go, and that's a rough run to watch. Speedway push Ben Davis away and force a Captain America swap.
Now, this is a little bit more of the same theme though, but my goodness, this Blade is just going to town on that Iron Man. We wondered what the counter was before. I think Demonic just answered that question. Now all up in the back line. This has been Davis who's taking a point with their healers in the back line, just getting absolutely left out in the lurch. That Speedway with 2 of them here.
That was as clean as you could ask for. I mean...
Yep.
I think we talked about it a little bit in saying that for Speedway, they looked great after that initial opening where we did see Ben Davis take point first, right? And then we saw them winning the battles, and it really did come down to just Demonic, who, if you take a look at the record, did not lose, it did not die a single time in there. You do not see that very often. I want to point that out. A single death on anyone is already powerful work. To be unkillable through the whole thing, plus round out with 23 over, is crazy work.
It really is. 12 final hits there from just Demonic, which is, of course, more than twice as many as all of Ben Davis put up here. The one main difference is what I feel like I pointed out towards the end of it. This is a Speedway squad that's just doing a fantastic job of realizing who's out of position, who's most vulnerable in that order, and then last, or just who is the best to take out early, right? There's plenty of examples of Salty Mold kind of just biting off a little bit more than can chew with that attempt of just trying to, snag people and send them off the edge for the easy, easy and cheesy kill early. The thing is, you take down one healer on the other side, they still have 2 to boot.
It's always that feeling of when I fall, someone else will step up to the bat, and I like it. It has been very, very good for them so far. Now we go ahead and move over. I don't know if it's Convergence or Convoy. We will have to wait and see. I didn't get a good check at what they'll be played. Either way, both of those actually lend itself to a little bit easier time than I think Domination. And moving into that game too, my big thought is always that, hey, it's a little bit difficult when it comes down to active choices. And it is going to be Convoy. You take a look at the top, it is the pathway for them. when it comes down to convoy or convergence, it's very obvious which direction you're attacking from. Is it going to be attack or is it defense, right? You don't have to worry about flip-flops. For Speedway, it doesn't matter. It feels like they're going to come out of the gate swinging. For Ben Davis, though, this does help line up and create a little bit more narrowed pathway for them to worry about. Do we have to be offensive or do we go defensive? Those are only two choices.
Well, one DPS character you'll see on the side of Ben Davis will not be Black Panther. Perhaps kind of that lining up type situation that you were talking about earlier as well, right? I mean, we really saw Justamonic put on a absolute clinic as far as how to play that diving DPS that really thrives in close quarters combat with that blade. I'm wondering if there's a little bit of information here, and Speedway knows that maybe Caden, maybe this disabled soul or solo enjoyer player are like really good other diving characters. Caden at least hovering around the magic right now.
And we saw the magic for like half a round, I'm pretty sure. Like it was there and then it wasn't, then Caden actually swapped to a tank setup, so made a little bit more sense. But I will say Caden looked like a star for the team, really stepping up, winning some of the battles. It worked well. Here's where the bans are going to get a little bit dicey. For Ben Davis, I think you need to do something about maybe looking at one of the other DPS. That blade, in my opinion, was a pain, but I also agree with this. Right call, you don't need triple DPS ban. Take out that Jeff. Honestly, Reaper was amazing on that strategist. Really nice ban there.
Yeah, I'm not against this at all, especially now with Jeff's, is M1 and it going through shields, it going to heals, it going to your opponents and doing damage. Pretty crazy stuff if you ask me. And there wasn't ever a time again that Ben Davis turned their attention towards just like trying to find this one character outside of the Salty Mold dive on the Angela to send that Jeff a packing off the side for the insta kill. Now, not really that much different there for BP, Hulk, and Strange. Bans remaining the exact same here for Speedway Varsity.
There it is.
And there's the that I think is what we were all waiting for with bated breath a little bit for.
Oh, but it shifts out again, and this actually jumps out in more ways than one. So what we had earlier was a very ground-centric game plan, and honestly, it was only Salty Mold who was on the Angela back in game number 1. Yeah. Now take a look. This is now heavily vertical leverage here with the Ultron plus the Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. These are high flyers. It is going to be a little different play that Ben Davis had kind of forced themselves into, but it does create opportunities. One, Justamonic, way squishier, in my opinion. Human Torch, much squishier, much easier to do damage to. I think Speedway, I like the idea that they've gone for Ben Davis. They've adjusted appropriately. Love the bans, love what they've done so far, giving themselves a little bit more space to play with.
Yeah, and Speedway is created what can kind of be called like a healing line right here, right? The Human Torch stays up in the air, this Ultron keeps healing on them, the Luna Snow keeps her healing on the Ultron, and the Cloak and Dagger keeps everybody alive while usually chilling with this Moon Knight. You come at a Moon Knight, you best not miss with those onks, right? So what we're looking at is like a long line of sustainability here from Speedway. It'll be a tough order here from Ben Davis. They are rocking the Human Torch on the other side, so maybe a little dogfight and a little aerial back and forth here.
Maybe not as enjoyable though, as right now Reaper is actually doing a much more aggressive style, flying right into the mix, not worried too much about healing, but normally you see an Ultron a little bit further away, but they are directly over enemy territory and willing to throw down the damage just as well. So it's turned into a double aerial territory, meaning the dogfight turns into a slaughter, and it's a quick punch out for Speedway as they get first blood.
I mean, see, that's the thing. With a Cloak and Dagger and an Invisible Woman, there's not a whole lot of healing capabilities for Ben Davis to get Disabled Soul to really get cooking on that Human Torch here. Now the Groot, unfortunately, just getting absolutely slammed. Speedway rolling through here. I don't believe they lost one the initial fight.
No, I don't think they did, honestly. And I like this adjustment out. I think Salty was on Wolverine for like 30 seconds and said, they have multiple flyers. This isn't gonna work. And immediately swapped off back to the Angela. This is the right call. This is the dogfight that you were wanting, Tugboat, and I think it's going to be very nice if Salty can stay alive, but they can't. Immediately sent right back to spawn.
I think Salty thought that they were on the bottom platform there where there is a big healing pack, and that's why they chose to like kind of getting that engagement going, right? Otherwise, different decisions. Definitely early pick onto the Cloak and Dagger. I can't really call it early anymore. Human Torch down as well as the other healer here, and now it's just a little bit of stall action. Play your life as best you can. Take a couple seconds off that clock.
And we appreciate this. For Speedway, this is living up to their name, Speedway Varsity, saying, we are the varsity squad, and we will continue to run this forward. They are so far on pace to have a very snappy attacking pattern, and it's only going to continue. As right now, I believe the card is pushing with one on top, which is a little bit slow, but either way, it's about as fast as you're going to get. For Ben Davis, though, you're going to regroup. You're going to try and bring this fight back together with the 2-2-2. But you're currently stopped inside the door, but that's a great catch. Caden gets one.
Caden, what they protected this character earlier in round number 1, now finding a little bit of value here. Can't quite get it going on the other side. A great job from keeping this alive. And again, the healing train just continues for Speedway. It's going to be so difficult. Or really, it's just going to require Ben Davis to really segment this out. Ultimate ready, and you can kind of see Reaper Black here on the Ultron. Consider that for a second. None necessary on the backside. And they really just need to stack a couple onto this point so this payload gets much closer to this ever so difficult chokehold to get through.
This is out of this world as well. Speedway are adjusting so cleanly, and even having the firestorm being burned and cornering off those doorways. Poor Invisible Woman can't do much here, and it hurts to watch because for Ben Davis, you want to go out and defend, you want to be able to fight back, but Speedway have utilized almost no ultimates outside of a singular. They have 4 in bank right now. If Ben Davis tried to ult check them, it's going to be in for a nasty surprise.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. I mean, especially if you have a mag and a Cloak and Dagger on your side and a mag on the other side, you always have to save that bubble for that Cloak and Dagger for when that inevitable mag ultimate tries to come down upon them, right? It blocks all the damage in one, right? No limit to it. Here comes the Maggle. Can they find it? Great job hiding in the corner. Still goes for chokehold. Almost gets the Invisible Woman, but this Moon Knight might have the number form on the other side. There's the magic ultimate going. Caden finds one. It's going to be a healer here and early. Going to have to find a little bit more value from this one, though. Orbital, not going to happen. Speedway takes out 1-2. It's going to take kind of a consolation elimination on the backside there. The Moon Knight drop for Speedway as Ben Davis finds at least one and hold on to a couple of ultimates until Salty switches off with ultimate.
Still, though, Speedway looking so clean with it, and we mentioned the ult check from either side is going to get messy, and it was. As you appropriately called, Ben Davis, we're saying, okay, we're going to stat check them. It's going to be difficult, it's going to be rough, but we're going to blow through it. And they did fairly okay. The problem is Speedway were more than ready. The song being brought out, that final dance, made sure that none of that damage really stuck. And now when we go back into this just regular ability trade, we know who's stronger. Speedway have shown us on repeat who is the better duelist.
This is a full retreat here from Ben Davis. You don't want to give up these eliminations and feed what was an absolutely anemic ultimate line here for Speedway coming on into this one. What they really don't want is this mag to get ultimate back so they can find some kind of value from the Star-Lord on the backside once these regroups do come in. Caden falls very late here, and this is just going to be a slow trickle all the way into point. Taking a look at ultimates, we have the Human Torch. We'll see that in a second. Freezamas does have that mag ultimate, so maybe a little bit more sustained. A couple seconds off the clock here. Go for the Flyers! Ah, no, finds the healer on the bottom side. That is the smart decision, but as a mag main, again, there's not a better feeling to hitting like an Iron Man, hitting an Ultron in midair, you know?
Yeah, just kind of catch him out and say, hello, I'm here, but that was a smooth 3-0, and now Ben Davis have 4 minutes to try and save their opening season series here against Speedway, who are looking better and better, already trying to say, hey, we are looking at the top spot here in our division A/AA. They're looking prime, put themselves in a good spot in the early stage of ranking.
Yeah, so 6 weeks. Any fans of Ben Davis, if they do not take it down here, right, they still have the perfect opportunity. Fret not, right? There's plenty of matches all the way through here, 22 teams, and the regular season decides postseason seeding in that single elimination tournament once you do get down there. So the worst thing that happens to Ben Davis here is they lose this match. They still have plenty more matches after this one, and they still will only have a mild effect on postseason seeding. Nobody eliminated from that one. Let's take a look at this one. Caden going on over to the sniper act. Whoa, is our observers having a little fun?
Listen, you spin me right. Oh, it stopped too soon. Listen, you got to spin around sometimes, especially when you don't have the spinner themselves. The Spider-Man haven't been out to play, so we got to have a little bit of spin action in there. But what we do also have is another tree on its own. Caden stepping in with the Black Widow, which is not really seen as an optimal pick in the current meta. I believe still sitting around that B tier, but the damage is no joke. If you get a great snipe up, you can lay down some extra damage, especially on some of the flyers.
In this opening section here, put Disable Soul in a turret form right here, put Caden a little bit farther back, they even keep him within like spawn doors so you can't actually like get that kill in there. Disable Soul almost bit off a little bit more than they can chew. Taking a look at the back line as of right now here for Speedway on board with Luna. Gonna opt for that charge up here early. And I mean, Ben Davis is not making bad yardage so far, man.
So far, they are pushing up, and remember, they have to touch that first point, that first checkpoint ASAP, and we know Speedway know how to fall back quickly and then re-engage, and it looks like they're doing it here. Take a look at this. They allow a few members out, but immediately shut down Ben Davis so quickly because they have the Ultron in the front lines, just annihilating the tanks.
A lot more damage coming in from Speedway as well after they've opted to only have 2 healers here. The Phoenix... again, not necessarily like a super meta pick, but a great option if you just want to sit back and chunk in some damage. Everything else from their composition tells me that. No, they only have the 1 tank here. Yep, there goes the Phoenix.
I love what Speedway just did. I don't think it really works, but it's enough to deter. They hid behind the statue, hiding their specific bodies. Yes, the HP bars I think we're still seeing, but they were basically body blocking themselves. A lot of few members out and immediately pinched their backsides, which meant Solo and Joyer lost their life ASAP. We get to see a Star-Lord come out here, which did minimal damage output, but again, for Speedway, it's still looking so dang good. They've already burned 1.5 minutes.
It's true, we did not see a Disable Soul Star-Lord ultimate earlier. Now, that mag on the other side did have that, but that Star-Lord ultimate can work that out, or can outlast, excuse me, the mag ultimate. And especially in the current situation, there's plenty of cover to take from that Magnum ultimate if they do pop it. 6 blowing as of right now here for Speedway. This is going to be a tough act to follow here for Ben Davis.
For Ben Davis, you're right now just sitting, okay, what can we do? We know this is a tough matchup. We know Speedway is good. How do we fight our way out? Well, right now Speedway is saying you don't get that choice. The androids are ready to battle as Ultron calls down Pain. The Storm of Fire came out just as well, followed by the Meteor, and you're drawing victory circles on the ground as Ben Davis are once again sent packing and sent to respawn.
Yeah, still some time. That's a fantastic initial pick here from Caden. Finally getting the hit scan going here and taking him down through the air. No fly zone orbital. 1, 2, 3 ultimates here for Speedway, so they'll still have an opportunity to really hold here. But if they can get something, there you go from the Emma ultimate. If you get that Star-Lord in the back line, this might be a different story. He's up to it. I wonder if they're going to pick this one. There's going to come out the Luna ultimate on the other side. Not going to happen. Unfortunately, cannot get this off. And Disable Soul just gets a little bit farther than they need to get away from these healers.
Hurts a little bit to watch right now. That slam that we saw come out from the side of Ben Davis, it looked good, but it wasn't enough. Now it charged back down. That's just demonic. Hasn't been touched across 2 games. They're looking to do it one more time as the invisible barrier goes up, but it's a double invisible barrier, meaning everyone's locked into this pit, and it's a danger zone all around. The Phoenix gets to roar even without the ult, and it's just damage ticks on damage ticks. Ben Davis are falling over like dominoes, and Speedway forced them to relinquish their last 20 seconds.
Star-Lord, if he can win this 1v, that'd be amazing, but with everybody staring down the barrel on the other side, now we will have an opportunity to touch here, Orbital. That's probably going to be the role of, that's probably going to be the role of this Star-Lord. Just get in, get out, start this one. That's a solid bit of damage across the middle. That's a fantastic start. Tries to get out with the life, cannot, but a healer down for the side of Speedway. And only one ultimate here. Here comes the Hella from on high. This fantastic positioning. Not going to find it on the backside. That is a res here for Ben Davis from the Rocket Raccoon from on high here. Only ultimate available to Speedway as of right now, healing-wise, is this Ultron. That should be enough to get some of this through. Magum ultimate does come up, but with 2 falling, 2 non-ultimate abilities, not even sure if they're going to need it.
Nope, this is Ben Davis toppling once again. They fought valiantly at the end. You saw the glimmer of action at the end, but Speedway were ready to shut down this 2-0. Comfortable fashion. Well done to Speedway Varsity Marvel Rivals as they take their opening season series.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen that Hella out of Ben Davis earlier. Throw a Thor in the mix. Now you're talking about all kinds of reses once you continue to see Caden land those headshots upon flyers and stuff like this. It's really seemed like that was the beginning of a change in momentum here for Ben Davis, but the constant counter picks and earlier rounds not having like an established theme, I really feel like it came back to bite them, Orbital.
It really did. They kept swapping through, and it also causes confusion a little bit. When we normally see swaps of characters, normally we see teams have a specific comp that they're willing to go to. It really felt more like, for Ben Davis, they were swapping to see what worked, and you can't do that. You waste a lot of precious time, and it falls to the wayside. Do I disagree, though, with the fact that you do need to find something different? No. Like, you do need to figure out something different. You do need to find what works, especially when you go up against an overbearing Speedway. It just hurts to watch. It's the right idea, but obviously it needs to be cleaned up a little bit, so they're on the right track.
Yep.
But there's definitely more to pick up.
Yeah, and there was 2 things that, like, compositions aside, whatever heroes they're picking aside, anything else like this, if there's 2 things, it'd be first the regroup, right? Just realizing when a battle is lost and you do not want to lose, especially a tank and all the damage that it can give, like ultimate value-wise to the other squad. And then second, like, this is a little bit more composition based, obviously, but like the focusing just on one character, obviously, like I feel like the main mentality is, okay, just waste down to shield a tank's shields, abilities, and then heals in that order usually. But when Ben Davis was focusing on backline healers, they were finding value. Now, when you play against 3 healers, obviously, there's a next step right there. But it was a fantastic start to multiple different team fights. Just the sustainability and then the focus afterwards wasn't always there for Ben Davis, and that did lead to their eventual 2-0 loss in this matchup.
It did, but we can't discredit the fact that for Speedway, they were more than willing to recognize those faults. Whenever we see a few cracks in the armor, especially for teams, it is on the opponent to recognize those cracks and make use of it. It's what we call punishing mistakes.
Yep.
And for Speedway, we have to give credit. They did that to a perfect level. As soon as they saw they could take the 1v1 duels, they were willing to 1v1 duel the entire time. As soon as they saw that, hey, they're mostly ground game action, they immediately went with some of the flyers, even though they lost that blade. It was so well adjusted that Speedway looked like a hardened team, and I'm excited to see what they can do throughout the rest of the season.
Yes, we'll reiterate this one once again. Plenty of matches here within the semester. I believe I saw the last one November 12th. That's plenty of time to right the ship, fix any wrongs, Orbital. Again, postseason seeding is determined by regular season performance. So even if Ben Davis somehow, which obviously won't happen, lose 5 more in a row, they will not be eliminated from any sort of playoff contention. As we reach towards the end of this broadcast, I want to give a shout out to another one of our sponsors here that make competitions just like the one you saw possible. That is LOS Portal or League OS Portal. Do you want to play esports in college? Now there's a way to search through hundreds of collegiate esports programs to see where they are, what games they play, and even what majors they offer. Just go on over to portal.leagueos.gg to search, and IEN students can also sign in to manage their own prospect profiles, where all of their stats are automatically updated match over match. There are scholarships out there for players as well as shoutcasters. Hey! Social media managers, and more, so make sure to add all of your talents to your various profile. Some verified collegiate esports coaches are searching across the LOS portal for promising prospects and reaching out to the ones they like right now. League OS portal is obviously free for students as well, so don't miss your chance to get discovered. Visit portal.leagueos.gg today and take your game to the next level. A lot of like the secondary pronouns like your, you. It's a call to action. That's what we do here, folks. Orbital, fantastic match here. I want to give a shout out to all the folks behind the scenes as well. I do believe we've reached my least favorite part of any broadcast because it's just one on the day, and that is, of course, the end here. Any closing thoughts, Orbital, before we do bid the good people adieu?
No, I think this is going to be a treat and a half. The Marvel Rivals season is obviously kicking off, but we have so many other titles here on the IEN broadcast. There's going to be things like chess, like Rocket League, I believe. We have a couple other matches in there, and in between, we even got Minecraft in there. So, I mean, this is just the start, the beginning of this entire train that'll be riding us high through esports galore.
Absolutely. More IEN matches here on Monday. Orbital mentioned some of them. Plenty of esports to be had within. If you're a student watching this and you want to get involved, you know who to contact. FBI_tugboat on literally everywhere. If you liked what you heard, Orbital_casting, at least on Twitter and pretty much everywhere, right, Orbital?
Yes.
Gotcha. Pretty much everywhere. If you liked what you heard, appreciate you guys for watching, and we will catch you on the flip side.